Hasan? Dark truth behind the lie detector guy. Oh, I want to watch Tom Scott.
I was a kid, magnetic levitation trains.
I normally wouldn't watch Tom Scott video because I don't know exactly if he's like fond of other people watching his videos or not. But this is the one instance where I will be making an exception. Because I apologize to Tom Scott and everyone else. But as a train enthusiast, if you're going to make a video about trains, I'm going to watch that video. I'm going to talk about that video. Okay? Can't. It's just, I love trains. Specifically, very fast trains. Specifically, the world's fastest train. So let's take a look.
Maglevs were going to be the future. When I was a kid, magnetic...
Is copyright block clip channels for posting your reaction before? Clip channels, do not clip my reaction to this. If you clip my reaction to this, I will copy strike you. He will copy strike you. Do not clip my fucking reactions to this video, okay? I just want to watch it. Sunny Bits, thank you for the 5, get the subs. Tom Scott doesn't care. Watch this video on copyright. He will beat your ass IRL for watching it as well. Fair play, mate, and be careful. To be fair, I would take the ass beating just to watch this video.
Trains, maglevs, were going to be the future. Television shows would film breathless reports on the latest trials in Germany or here in Japan, promising unbelievably fast and smooth travel between faraway cities. But decades later, the only actual high-speed maglev service in the world is in Shanghai, China, which is fast, but it's almost a gimmick. It only goes 30 kilometers, it loses enormous amounts of money every year, and not many people use it. I thought that maglev was one of those technologies like Concorde that we thought were the future, until they weren't. And now there's just abandoned test tracks and the dreams of the past.
Not true.
Which is why I was very surprised when my local producer here in Japan asked me if I wanted to take a ride on the new maglev.
Oh my God!
Because it turns out...
What? I want to go on the fucking maglev. What the fuck, Japan? Japan, you're dead to me. Japan, you are so dead to me, dude. I'm going to come back for the VCTs. If my fat ass is not on a fucking maglev, next time I'm out there, I'm going to be very upset.
Japan has had a test track for years. It carries passengers because every so often they will open their tests to the public with a lottery for tickets. And this test track is already longer than the entire Shanghai maglev system. The plan is that it'll be part of a 285-kilometer route taking 40 minutes, which is less than half the time of even the bullet train, with a cruising speed just over 500 kilometers an hour. 90% of that track will be in tunnels, and that's under construction now. Forgive me for getting excited, but the future appears to be arriving, and I'm going to take a...
Come on, man. No one should be mad at you for getting excited. We shouldn't forgive people for getting upset at you for being excited about this. This is fucking sick.
Ride on it. But first, the team here said they'd let me stand by the track as the maglev goes past at speed.
この山梨では、1997年から、26年前からですね、走行試験を行っております。現在までこの山梨で、累積の走行距離が430万キロ、地球一周が約4万キロですから、約107周分の走行試験を行ってまいりました。
And that's the maglev. Wow. So, it's going to accelerate, and then they're going to bring it back at full speed into that tunnel, 500 kilometers an hour. That accelerates so quickly. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but a normal train would have started so much slower than that. It's already doing, what, 30, 40k in a few seconds? That would have pushed you back in your seat. Wow. Okay. Now we wait for it to come that way.
まず車両には超電導磁石という強力な磁石を搭載しております。一方、軌道側、走るガイドウェイと呼んでおりますが、こちらには、地上コイルと、これは推進コイルと浮上コイルという2種類ですが、この超電導磁石と、浮上コイル、推進コイルとの間の磁力の力で、非接触で走行するシステムです。
Won't lie, a little bit nervous. I know I'm safe. But there's a reason I'm not allowed behind this line. It's about maybe a kilometre to that tunnel mouth, maybe a little less. And the train's now coming towards us, 500 kilometres an hour, which means it's going about 1 kilometre every 8 seconds. It's nearly here, apparently. They've just told me it's nearly here and I can't hear a thing. Oh, I can see a light. I can see the train coming. I can see headlights. All right. How fast is 500 kilometres an hour?
Dude. It's almost like, dude, that is an entire 100 miles faster than the regular bullet train. The regular bullet train goes up to, I believe, around 200 miles per hour. If you've ever been on a bullet train, when you literally pass by another bullet train going in the other direction, it takes like a second. It goes and you pass by it. It's so fucking fast. This is getting actually close to, plane speed.
I hope that came across on camera. Because
I'm going to play it on.
It's 500 kilometres an hour.
It looks fake. Like, it looks like CGI.
I hope that came across on camera. Because you hear nothing. And it looks so far away. And it looks...
It's insane. This is like impossible, I think, to reflect accurately on camera. But we are now officially like 100 miles slower than a plane. That's it. Like, planes go 400 miles an hour. Right? Isn't domestic flight just like 400 miles an hour? Maybe sometimes like 400 to 600 miles an hour. $450 kilometers an hour is about half the typical passenger plane, according to domestic is between 400 to 600 miles an hour.
So unthreatening, and then it is there, and this wall of sound hits you. That's incredible. I don't have words. It's my job to have words for a moment like this, and I don't. All right, it's going to come to a stop. I'm going to get on it. We're going to ride at 500 kilometers an hour.
今までですね、様々な課題について、取り組んでまいりました。まず最後の課題としては、車上の電源をどう確保するかという問題です。これは車両の中の例えばお客様の乗る空間の照明、それから空調装置、また超電導磁石を冷やす冷凍機と呼んでおりますが、こちらの電源をどう確保するかということです。従来の鉄道はパンタグラフで
What do you do? Can you bring metal stuff into this though? I feel like that's a problem, no? It's magnets. So like, what about your phones and shit?
電源を取るということをしますが、リニアの場合は非接触で高速でしかも走るということで、そういう方式が必要であるということで、誘導終電という方法を考えました。これは地上側にあるコイルから、車両のお腹についているコイルに、電磁誘導で電気を取るというシステムです。
It smells new. There's sort of new plastics and fabrics in the air. Okay. Here we go. The acceleration is noticeable. Like, I got pushed back in my seat there in a way that I think I've only felt on planes. It's not full plane takeoff, but it's still way stronger than anything that I felt in a train anywhere else. And we're already approaching 100 kilometers an hour. That is 100. And we're still accelerating. 130. So the wheels are going to come up soon. We're going to hit 150 kilometers an hour. The wheels are going to come up. and the noise goes away, and it's so much smoother.
Dude.
200 kilometers an hour, and we're still accelerating. The only reference I've got now is the big screen, which is just counting down how long until the end of the track.
That's so sick.
It's a little bit bouncy, but nothing you wouldn't expect on a regular train. Okay, 300 kilometers an hour. We're at kind of continental Europe high-speed train now, and we're still accelerating. I'm still being pushed back in my seat. Not dramatically, but it's still noticeable. I've never experienced this much acceleration for this long, and we're still going.
実験性での最高速度は、2015年に有人での走行で出した603kmという速度が最高記録です。これは鉄道のですね、世界記録ということで、ギネスにも認定されています。で、通常の走行ですけれども、現在営業線は時速500キロでの走行を考えております。通常の鉄道車両というのは、レールと車輪の摩擦力で駆動力を伝え、ブレーキ力を伝えます。これはですね、例えば雨が降ると摩擦力が低下するということから、この500キロというのは高速では安定して走行ができないというふうに考えております。一方、超電導リニアは磁石の力で、磁力で走行しますので、この摩擦力に頼らない走行ということになります。ですので、従来の鉄道に比べますと、急な勾配に強い。また、加減速度も高い。
480, 490, and we ease off the acceleration. That's 500 kilometers an hour. That's the fastest I've ever traveled on land. And it feels like a train. It is a little bit louder than you'd expect from a train, but it's way less than an aircraft. You can still have a conversation. There's a bit of noise in the background, but it's still doing okay. But there's nothing uncomfortable about this. I was worried that at this speed I was going to feel like I was being jolted about, but this feels like a train.
地震が起きた場合や停電が起きた場合にも
No, it wouldn't make airplanes obsolete in the United States. It would just not happen because it would be a competitor to airplanes and therefore they would not allow it. But it wouldn't make it obsolete. Airplanes still exist in Japan, chatter. You know what I mean? Like, people think when you have an alternative, like it's going to go away. You know, airplanes are still faster. Like, the existence of the top of the hour ad break does not negate anything else. Like, you can still avoid those ads by subscribing for $5 or for free with Twitch Prime. If anything, airliners would have to literally drive their prices down because in order to compete with like the Shinkansen and shit. And the Shinkansen, for example, is not cheap, but the advantage it has, even though it's slower, is that it's actually infinitely easier. The convenience, like the convenience of getting gifted a sub or subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. And never seeing, bro, Japan has like no planes. Yeah. At the top of the hour. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. So, yeah, the thing I was going to say is, I feel like this would be very expensive because of the infrastructure. Super rad, though. Wait, what? No. It's literally better and cheaper ultimately. What about domestic flights? Do you think these are all international flights? Do you think all these planes flying in Japan right now are flying internationally? How are the Japanese airports? I mean, I only saw one, and it was fine. Definitely better than fucking American airports, obviously. But you know, I much prefer the train. You can take a train right into downtown, not the outskirts of a city like a plane. There's that. It's also on and off. What would you say to someone who thinks the U.S. is too big for trains? The entire European infrastructure has trains. The entirety of Europe. Or, here's another example, China. Okay, if we're talking land mass, you have China. You have Russia. You have the entirety of the EU. And also, and this is a really interesting one, you have the United States of America, which was literally built with trains. So that's another component that is very odd that we keep forgetting. Or not even just built with trains, but like still heavily leans on trains as a fundamental part of our logistics. They just happen to carry important chemicals that sometimes get fucking derailed and dump loads on our rural cities and towns. I do freight forwarding for work. The entire supply chain runs on trains. Yeah. A good comparison for the U.S. to China. Next month, I'm traveling from New York City to Chicago, the third busiest air route in the country, which takes 19.5 hours via Amtrak on a daily train. This same distance as Beijing to Shanghai, which takes only 4.3 hours and leaves every 20 minutes. This country could do better. Yeah. Yeah.
Last year, I filmed.
Dude, Tom Scott's doing so much fucking sick-ass content in Japan. Holy shit, dude. It's making me salivate.
安全に止まれるシステムとなっております。こちらをご覧になっていただきますと、この超電導リニアの車両はこの U 字型のガイドウェイと呼んでいる構造物の中を走っております。また磁石の力で、常にこの中央に、制御をすると。でまた、この超電導リニアの車両が浮上する仕組みとして外部から電源を供給する必要がありません。速度が150キロ以上。
Like, the only thing that scares me about this is that, like, I understand how trains work. I don't understand how maglev works, and it scares me a little bit because it seems a little bit like magic. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's it's levitating, dude. It's scary, like, for sure.
高い速度であれば、浮上し続けることができます。で、速度が落ちてきましたら、タイヤを出して通常通り着地をすると。ですので、地震が起きたら、早期に、列車を止めに行くというシステムを使っております。
So, will it work this time?
Do you understand how an engine works? No. I also don't understand how planes fucking fly either. But, like, it kind of makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand the intricacies, but I get it. It's like wheel, track, go, right? Same with, like, push, lift, keep flying, keep pushing, okay? Whereas with magnets, I'm like, it's not the same principle. You know what I mean? Chad, Hasan has flown a plane. He hasn't driven this, Puggo. Thank you. You're right. Exactly. I've flown a fucking plane, dog.
Because there is a long history of breathless British people travelling to other countries, getting excited about maglevs, and telling the English-speaking world about a future that never comes. This feels like a video that the BBC could have filmed in the 70s or 80s, and the original opening date of 2027 has already been pushed back. The new date is still uncertain. One local government keeps raising objections to the construction. The future is not here yet, and we're not going to be seeing one of these in Europe anytime soon. But the track is being built. The technology does work. And it looks like the economics are
I love the guy saying, brother, just please read a physics textbook. It's like, yeah, man, let me just read a physics textbook. He said just. Like, yeah, it's so simple, dude. Look, a long time ago, I gave up on that, okay? I don't just mean reading, which I also gave up on, but physics in general, okay?
Because there's clearly demand for travelling between two major cities. In a few years' time, we might finally get to ride the maglev that the world was promised all those years ago. We are braking now, and it is still really strong. One last thing, they stopped the train in the middle of a curve. When I was coming through this at 500 kilometers an hour, it felt perfectly level to me. I felt nothing weird, but it turns out that actually the whole train is tilted 10 degrees. I'm having to brace myself to stop sliding down the carpet. Thank you very much to everyone from JR who's standing behind the camera there. This was a privilege. Thank you very, very much.